Retire Plugged In, issue number 17. The 5-year retirement window that changes everything. This is the real truth about retirement. Will the bull or bear control your 5-year retirement window? Historical corrections have been dramatic. The S&P 500 bull and bear markets in 2000 to 2009 show how dramatic it can be. In newsletter number 16, we discussed how your retirement date triggers two forces. When you claim Social Security is force number one, which you control. Force number two, you have no control over, and that's the 5-year retirement window that changes everything, bull or bear, when you retire. The next question you should ask is, if I have no control over market returns, what can I do to protect my retirement? Okay, valid question, and we'll address that next week. There are many ways to plan so that your retirement income and assets aren't wrecked by a bad market. Pay attention to the word plan because that's the key. But first, let's stress what you need to do, you need to know about the 5-year retirement window that changes everything. Let's go over the common misconceptions you're exposed to everywhere. Misconception number one, the market is a long-term investment, so ups and downs really don't matter. True, investing in the market should be a long-term investment. Why do I say should? Because we're all human. If the market drops 30%, you become scared and emotional, and that can cause disaster. This is called loss aversion. Studies show that human beings feel the emotional pain of losses about twice as strongly as they feel the joy of equivalent gains. This can drive panic selling. Now, if you're still accumulating for retirement, that can wreck your returns over time, especially if you don't jump back into the market until it's up again. But your losses aren't really affected as much as you'd think if you're in a 401k with an automatic contribution, because that contribution is probably buying low while stocks are on sale, even if your lump sum is sitting on the sidelines. Unfortunately, FOMO is also real. Fear of missing out drives many people to jump back into the market after it's already gone back up, or into other assets such as gold or silver because they hear how much they're rising in value. They don't want to miss out. If you buy high, you're not only purchasing at inflated values, but playing the hope game. Since it's going up, you're gambling that I'll catch it before it goes even higher. Have you ever heard the saying, what goes up must come down? Yeah, that holds true, not only for the stock market, but gold, silver, and any other investment. So buying high is risky. Once you're retired and no longer contributing, so you're no longer buying low and may even be taking out regular withdrawals, how do market swings affect your retirement stability? Misconception number two, our return on investment is the most important thing to watch in retirement. This is precisely why this issue is called the 5-year retirement window that changes everything. You can choose your date of retirement, but can you predict what the market will do those first 5 years in your retirement? No, you can't. And that can change everything. Those first 5 market years can make your retirement or break your retirement. It's called sequence of returns risk, the biggest retirement risk you'll face outside of healthcare concerns. The return on investment of your retirement account doesn't matter nearly as much as the sequence of returns in retirement. Why? The rate of return will be exactly the same in your account, whether a market drops at the beginning of a period or the end of a period, as long as the years along the way had the same returns, just in reverse, as long as you make no withdrawals. This is due to the commutative law of multiplication. Sorry about the math. I was originally a fifth-grade math teacher. Commutative law says 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6. This is great news when you're saving for retirement. How could that be? Well, here's a short video to make sense to you why it doesn't matter whether the returns are in one or another if you're still accumulating. This means you really don't have to worry about whether the market is up or down when you retire. Then why are those 5 years in retirement so important? This principle only works if you take no withdrawals out of your account. You may not even plan on touching that account at first or for many years, but you will make withdrawals because you made a deal with the devil. The devil said, I'll let you invest your money, get a tax deduction, and pay no taxes as it grows. You said, wow, that sounds great. And he laughed, planning to put a mortgage on your account. Yes, a mortgage on your IRA that goes up as your account appreciates. Your home mortgage can have a fixed rate and a set term, so as your home appreciates, your mortgage stays the same. There's no fixed time period guaranteeing payoff of your IRA mortgage, though. The rate goes up as the taxes go up, and when your account appreciates, the amount owed on your mortgage does too. Uncle Sam wants his tax dollars, so you must take money out to pay those taxes. Required minimum distributions, known as RMDs, begin at age 73 or 75, depending on your birth year. That table of RMDs is in newsletter number 11 if you need it. Maybe you're not even close to RMD age, so you're not worried about those first 5 years of retirement. But what if the roof goes? You need a new car? Want to pay for that great vacation you've been planning on in retirement? Want to supplement income so you can maximize the largest Social Security check at age 70? By the way, that's a good idea. We all look at our retirement accounts and think ROI. What's my return on investment, right? We said the returns are not as important as the sequence of returns because ROI needs to take on a new meaning once we've retired. ROI is no longer about return on investment. That was for our accumulation years. If we have a great ROI, return on investment, but the sequence of returns wipes out our income now that we're retired, how important is that return? ROI in retirement needs to be reliability of income. Since we no longer have a paycheck, the important ROI is not return on investment, it is reliability of income. I know that's a hard switch to make. We've always worried about a return on investment in our accumulation years, but why did we grow that account? We grew that account to provide reliability of income so we can retire without worries. And we have misconception number 3. If I take the same amount out every month, it's just like dollar cost averaging that made my account grow so much. Well, I'm glad you recognized that dollar cost averaging really made your account grow. Yes, every pay period you put the same amount into the market through your 401k, and you're correct, this is what made your account perform so well, maximizing your returns. If you contributed $1,000 a month and shares cost $100 each, you bought 10 shares each month. If the market dropped 50%, that same $1,000 bought 20 shares instead of 10 because the shares were half the price. This meant when the market returned, when it went back up, you had bought double the stocks to go up in value, maximizing your gains, increasing your account dramatically. So why doesn't that work in retirement, taking the same money out? Well, it actually does work in reverse, maximizing your losses. Why? If you need to supplement $1,000 out of your account each month and stocks are $100 a stock, you're liquidating 10 stocks. If the market tanks 50% and you're still taking $1,000 a month, instead of 10 stocks at $100 being liquidated, 20 stocks at $50 are liquidated. So why is that important? You're still taking the same amount out, aren't you? Yes, you are. But when the market returns, 20 stocks are not there to come back. This is why sequence of returns is more important than rate of return in retirement. To understand this, let's go back to Steve and Joyce I mentioned once before. They didn't understand this. It was back at the beginning of the year 2000 when the tech boom was so promising. They looked at Steve's older brother Mike, who retired in 1984, as their model. Between 1984 and 1999, the U.S. stock market experienced one of the strongest secular bull runs in history. But they were also aware that the market fluctuated significantly, punctuated by two major bear market corrections in 87 and 90, so they felt their retirement should be about the same. Mike took out $60,000 a year from his $1 million retirement account and even increased his withdrawal for inflation every year by 2.5%. And when he passed, right before Steve's retirement in 2000, he had much more money in his account than when he started. So that was Steve and Joyce's plan, follow in Mike's footsteps. In 1999, the dot-com bubble peaked. Excited about the rising market, they felt comfortable following in Mike's model. Let's look at a quick video that shows you what the sequence of returns did to their plan. What they didn't account for is the sequence of returns in the first 5 years of their retirement. They would run out of money in less than 15 years. It was their bad luck that the market returns had the sequence they did. If you look at the returns over 2000 through 2014, and there had been the same returns but in reverse order, they would have been fine, just like Mike. Was there any way for Steve and Joyce to predict the problem? Absolutely not. No one can predict the sequence of returns in the market for any time period. Of course, there's no shortage of people and talking heads who think you should listen to them. Right now, in July of 2026, we're at the top of another run-up in the market. Some are comparing it to the run-up before the market crash in 1929, before the biggest crash in history. Andrew Rose Sorkin says it's very worrying. But others think this is the start of a boom, fueled by our new technologies like the internet spurred in the 80s for Mike. The question is the new technology, AI, the reason for the run-up, and will it continue? Or are we in a bubble that is destined to burst? What can you do to secure your retirement? First, stop chasing ROI, return on investment. That was for before you retire. Second, recognize the sequence of returns risk. And third, plan for reliability of income as your ROI. Actually, the sequence of returns doesn't matter to your retirement if you recognize the risk of sequence of returns and create a plan to avoid any detrimental consequences. What should you consider if a bear market happens? Grab this checklist. You can hit the link and download it. Give you some ideas of what to consider. Make sure the 5-year retirement window that changes everything doesn't destroy your retirement. Tune in next week to find out how to create ROI, reliability of income, no matter the sequence of returns in the market.